My name is working here at Traffic Services, and this is Ask a Traffic Cop for, what is it, the 13th of May or something? Yes, we are getting through this year. It's racing through, but the weather is getting nicer, and that's a plus. What do we do here on Ask a Traffic Cop? Well, you guessed it. Well, if you guessed it, then you might be right. You ask a traffic cop, that's me, questions, and I give you answers live right here on the internet. Not only are we streaming on Instagram, TikTok, which is our big audience, it's also available on YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, Facebook, and even on Twitter. Twitter comes with some issues. It doesn't work. You can watch, but you can't talk to us. On every other platform, you can. So if you're watching us live right now, know that you can ask questions on either the Q&A function on Instagram or TikTok, or basically in the chat window of any of the other applications, except for, well, Twitter. We're hoping that gets fixed. We use Restream channels, everything into one convenient little box for us to reply, but our understanding is the API for Twitter has changed ever since they got rid of that, what is that called? That telescope? Periscope? I don't know. It's a scope of some kind. Yeah, that could go bad. What else is going on? We are, it's FriYay. It's FriYay all day. It's the best day of the week, even if some people put filters on and make you look like you're crying. It might be the most exciting thing to happen on the internet.
Yes.
Erin Urquhart did that to me yesterday. She is joining me in the studio this morning, right now. So if you've got parking questions, we have parking answers in addition to traffic and police questions. So,
I think TikTok made a crying filter now too because it's promoting it on.
Get out! You can cause more harm right natively in the app.
This is doing me dirty. Oh my.
Okay, we're moving on. Traffic Services has a wonderful group called the Vision Zero Enforcement Team. And what do? Well, they enforce the Highway Traffic Act. They focus on the big four. That is your speeding, your aggressive driving, your distracted driving, and impaired driving. They're a team that doesn't give out hugs. They give out tickets exclusively. Well, and occasionally arresting people, but that's a different story. Why do I bring them up? I bring them up every time I go live because they are in different divisions every single day. Today, on the 13th of May, which is, by the way, FriYay, and we'll talk about that for Port Dover in a second, but the Vision Zero Enforcement Team are currently working and focusing on 31 Division and 43 Division. What does that mean? Well, most people don't know. It's a police service. We have divisions throughout the city, and they service different areas. So what are those neighborhoods that these two divisions service? Well, it's Black Creek, Humbermead, Glenfield, Downsview. 43 Division focuses on Bendale, Woburn, Highland Creek, West Hill, and Guildwood. And that's not to say they're not in other places. And those aren't all of the neighborhoods in those divisions. It's just some of them that might, trigger a memory. Maybe you grew up there. Maybe you lived there. Maybe you've driven through there. Anyway, if you don't want to meet any of the officers that are hanging out there looking for people breaking the rules, don't break the rules, or avoid those areas and still don't break the rules, but don't break the rules. Okay. What are we talking about today? Well, we talk about whatever you bring up because this is a Q&A. So if you ask us questions, you get answers. If you say nothing, we'll talk about goldfish. And goldfish are important. We have a question here. How can I apply to be a police constable? Coming in from is it Bhavin Patel? He's coming in from Instagram. No, he's coming in from LinkedIn. Yes, so many different places. It's a great thing that you asked because guess what? We're hiring. One second, I got to update a camera angle here. There we go. Instagram was looking at the ceiling more, and it was looking at me. Can't have that. Okay, how do you apply to become a member of the Toronto Police? Go to tps.ca/careers. Yes, we have a website. Yes, it's been updated recently. And yes, we are currently hiring for that position and for many others. So if you are interested in a career in policing or working for an amazing service, just like ours, maybe specifically ours, check out tps.ca. Lots of information about our service there, lots of information about employment. Okay. Akela Dracona says, greetings and salutations. And what is this? So Akela says, I'm surprised you aren't doing this show on location in Port Dover. It is Friday the 13th. So for folks who don't know what Port Dover is, it's a community outside of Toronto. I don't know how far is it, a couple hours away? And every Friday the 13th, year-round, motorcycle enthusiasts ride out there and spend time. It's been a while. I think this is the first one that they've really gone out to since the pandemic, and it's going to be a good thing for the community there in terms of local businesses getting a lot of folks visiting. So if you're going to be riding your motorcycle today, please do so safely, do so sober, and have a good time and a safe time. And send us lots of pictures, tag us and stuff. Well, where would you tag us and stuff? Yeah, glad you asked. You can tag us on Instagram at Traffic Services Toronto, on Twitter at Traffic Services. You can even tag me, VoiceOver Cop, on any of the platforms. You can tag Aaron at TPS_Bikeheart or Parking TPS. We're everywhere. And Kayla very, very appropriately tags brings up the fact that has anyone won the Harley yet? The deal is that no, because the draw isn't until September. So you have time to buy tickets for the Harley Davidson. The proceeds for this raffle are going to support Special Olympics Ontario. I posted something yesterday. I'll be posting something soon again with my friend Erica. And www.harleyraffle.ca for your tickets to possibly win a Harley Davidson. It's a Street Glide. It's a beautiful bike. I was sitting on it yesterday. Okay, Stephen wants to know, says, good morning, how are you today? I'm doing great, thanks for asking. Is owning a fighter jet illegal? I'm getting one. That is a great question. You're going to need to talk to some people who know about pilot stuff, but don't speed. Don't speed in your fighter jet. As long as you're not driving it on the road, you're outside of my area of expertise. James McDonald coming in from YouTube. Good morning. Are you superstitious or just a little what is this? I don't even, do I know what this word is? Statitious? Stitious? No. A little superstitious or just super or not super, but a safe driver chiming in. Good morning, my friend. Long time no talk. Gotta get you on a show. James McDonald says sad Sean face. Have you seen the video that Aaron put up? It is quite hilarious. I laughed out. I didn't understand why she was laughing so hard, but then I saw the video. Let's see here. One of the guys from Chips is going to Comic-Con. Get out of town. That means I'm going to Comic-Con because I got to go meet the guys from Chips. I am a big Chips fan. Chips being the television show from the 70s and 80s, the iconic motorcycle police officer show that probably is the reason that I'm a police officer today. One of many reasons, but definitely is a very strong influence. So are you a Ponch or a Baker fan? Ponch or Baker? And who's going to Comic-Con? Because it doesn't matter. Either one of them are awesome. In fact, Baker or Larry Wilcox, who played Baker, John Baker on the show, gave me a shout out online recently, and that was pretty cool. That's a wholly awesome moment. I'm going to turn on your mic because I hear you sipping. Yeah, yes, there's a hot coffee, and Erin is sensitive, doesn't want to burn herself. It's reasonable. TPS Careers, just throwing it on the screen for anyone who wants to know more about stuff and things. We had Q, who was gracious enough to throw up on the screen the information. Is Underflow illegal? I think you meant Underglow. It is not specifically illegal. However, there's a couple things you need to know. If your installation is cruddy, if it's not a good installation, your bulbs may be visible, they may be projecting like forward, back, or to the sides. You may be violating the Highway Traffic Act at that point for other areas like improper headlights or taillights and so on. So that is one thing. You cannot have red light that is flashing intermittently. That would be a violation and a serious one. Then essentially, if you avoid red, blue, or green, for colors, you're doing pretty well. And if it's only going directly down to the ground and you're not directly sending light in any direction other than down, then you should be okay. We do not suggest you do this. The 80s have gone. They want their lights back. But in all seriousness, it is distracting, and you want people to pay attention to your vehicle, but it is distracting. So we say the best place to use it is to use it on private property. And then there's no issues. Use it when you're chilling out, having a coffee, showing off your wheels. John, my whole partner says, ouch. Oh, Comic-Con poll. Okay, we'll do that in a sec. We already talked about what is your favorite motorcycle? I have ridden all sorts of motorcycles. I like big ones, small ones, touring bikes, off-road bikes. I like them all. I just like motorcycles. I must say that I am partial to the Harley Davidson Electric Glide that we ride with the Toronto Police. That is, I want to buy a retired police bike. Just because I know how to ride them in ways other motorcycles just don't work. I think they suspend all sorts of laws of physics. We can do things on those motorcycles that are amazing. So I like them. But I like all sorts of bikes. What do we have here? Do we need permission to modify our cars? Permission? No. You might want to consult people with information like us or a mechanic as to what you do or plan to do, because you may find yourself being ticketed or not insured. You do need to tell your insurance company when you make modifications, because they can choose to deny your claim or choose not to insure you anymore if you make certain changes. So it is important to have conversations before you make decisions or plans. Find out and research what you're doing. If you look at the video of that I put up a couple days ago about a car that was stanced or dropped with heavy camber, you may like it, you may hate it, but at the end of the day, that's an unsafe vehicle. And if we saw that on the road, we'd be taking your license plates, we'd be sending them back to the ministry, you'd have to go get it safetied, and that would never pass a safety. Why do police hate cars with customs? It's a culture. It's not a problem to modify your vehicle. It's not a problem to make it your own, to style it, paint it, wrap it, tint it, as long as it's within legal limits. So again, if you do things that are legal, it's legal, and we'll support you and applaud your success as a car modifier who looks cool doing it. But when you put things in, you make modifications that are illegal, that create unnecessary noise, it's not just about you. So you're affecting the community at large. You're driving by people at night, you're waking them up, or you are putting yourself in a position where you are going to have tire blowouts because you stance them and they're not being run the way they're supposed to, so you have uneven wear. There's all sorts of things that we do that are for safety, despite the fact that most people want to vilify us and say we're just giving you a hard time because we don't like you. Well, it's not that. We're all car people here. This is traffic services. We got to have some interest in the vehicles. That's what drew us into traffic in the first place. Okay, wrong button, wrong button. I can't stand that background anymore. You see that? There we go. Maybe that'll help me center it. Is it going to work? There we go. Moving around. Okay. I wish there was a better way to do this, but that's the way to do it. Are wraps or stickers on motorcycle helmets legal? So the deal is you can't modify the shell of the helmet. So technically speaking, anything that would make that helmet stick to the ground or no longer have a smooth, hard shell does make it invalid or improper, and you could be charged under the Highway Traffic Act for that. Things like GoPros are a concern. Putting a sticker on your motorcycle is not. Putting a furry character skin on your helmet would be an issue. So, good question. It's a good question. Glad you asked it. Can you put tints on a semi-truck? Same rules apply to commercial vehicles as any other, as far as I know, and that would require you to have no more than 30% light blockage, not to have anything on the front windshield, and to not prevent us from seeing inside your vehicle. You can't. What can fall into your view? We have John, who's a former CVSA, commercial motor, CMV, I don't know what it is, a commercial motor vehicle person, and he knows his stuff. So what could fall into your view? I want to know. I don't want to take things out of context, but yeah, there are limits to what you can have tinted. John, are they okay to tint their stuff on a semi? Oh, motorcycle helmet editions. Yes, glad we're on different topics. So as for the tint, yeah, the requirements of not obscuring the interior of your vehicle. So if you make it so we can't see inside, we can't identify a driver, yeah, that's a problem. Stephen says, thank you, Sean. You helped me to be a better driver. Well, thank you very much. I'm glad that you've given us that feedback. I love to hear that. We've had a lot of people who said, I passed my G2 because of you, I got my G because of you, or I feel safer or more confident on the road because of watching your show, or watching the videos that you put up. So I really do appreciate the feedback. It's always welcome. We get some not so nice feedback, but I welcome that too, because you know what? It helps the algorithm.
We had this talk before.
You did?
Yes, you and I, personally.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Someone had asked in chat whether or not it was okay for neighborhoods to put in a imitated cop car to slow down speeders.
I don't think we've had this conversation in quite this way. So putting in an imitation police car is a problem. You can't go put police cars out. Police agencies have been known to put cars out to slow people down. Maybe that's what we were talking about. Very often we'll see a police car ahead, and I always tell my kids, look out the window, see if anybody's inside. And it could be that they're just out doing other things, or it may very well be a scarecrow, for lack of a better term. It slows people down. And the truth is, no one should be speeding, so it shouldn't bother anybody. Yeah. So, but a community-based police car, that could be a problem. who owns the property? Why are you creating things that look like police cars? Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Happy FriYay. This is a message from Q. Happy FriYay, y'all. Please boop the snoop and share. So, yes, thank you very much for bringing it up. If you are watching us and you don't follow us already, please follow us. If you're watching us and haven't tapped the screen to show that you like what you're seeing on TikTok or Instagram, please do that. Share the show with everybody you know on socials, on, just help us out. We're not getting paid for this. Like, I'm paid as a police officer to be here, but we don't make money from what we do on TikTok. We are simply here to share information and help everybody out. It's a community thing. So, what can I tell you about the other platforms we're on? Well, we're on YouTube, and if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. But if you're watching on any other platform, know that all of our archives of all of these lives are on and available for you to enjoy for hours and hours, if that's your thing. You can watch them all on YouTube. And if you need subtitles, because this does not have subtitles, and if you know somebody who has hearing impairments and would like subtitles are automatically generated on YouTube, so you can watch them there with that. If you're watching on LinkedIn, it also, I think, auto-generates those subtitles. What do we have here? And a good point brought from John, my old partner. He says that if you have a windshield, and actually, I think you're talking about the windshield, because you said years of manufacturing apply to the windshield thing. So if you have a windshield banner, you can't apply that to a vehicle that is made January 1st, 2017 or later. So if you got a vehicle that's made in 2016 or before, you're good to go for a 3-inch banner at the top of the window. Bon matin. That's from Tint coming in from Montreal. Jason Davey, will we ever get enforcement on pedestrian crossing after the timer starts? Will we ever get enforcement on pedestrians crossing after the timer starts? Do you mean pedestrians who walk into traffic against the countdown timer where they shouldn't be crossing? Or one second, let me turn your mic back up.
No, yeah, I think that's what they mean. Like,
so
when
if
the
someone
countdown
steps into an intersection when the countdown timer is on, it's telling people that they have that much time to get out of the intersection. It's not an intention to continue walking, but that's not. Generally, we don't focus on that. It does, I think, interfere horribly with traffic, and it's not a good move for people to do, because they're basically messing up traffic for the entire city. So thanks to pedestrians who don't pay attention and do things, unpredictably, and often result in collisions. But we need to do a lot more education there, and I think a lot of people don't understand. They think there's a countdown timer; it means run. It's not intended for that reason, or for that purpose. It's intended to tell people, especially people who move slowly for various reasons, that they have that much time to get out of the intersection before traffic expects to start moving. So it's a good question that you bring up, Jason. Maybe we will have to talk. I will discuss it with the sergeants in control of the universe. Okay, lots of motorcycles going to Port Dover today. Yes, indeed. And John says, I wish the pedestrians and we are all at some point would take their own safety seriously. You know, it's funny. We've talked about bicycle safety. I was recently interviewed in a Toronto Sun article about cycle safety. I talk about motorcycle safety all the time. At the end of the day, we all have a part to play. Traffic safety really is a shared responsibility. And people often like to point fingers and say it's somebody else's responsibility to make sure I'm okay. But even if you, took just a small interest in your own safety, it would really help you out, whether you're a driver, a rider, a pedestrian. If you you can't rely on anybody else, because everybody else has got their face buried in their cell phone. At least some of them do. If you are, thanks, seeing court, right on. What's the deal? What was I going to say? There was a point I was going to make, and I've lost it. Oh, well, it'll come back to me, and then I'll change topics mid-sentence. How low can we lower our cars legally? Well, our mechanic friends have told us that 1.5 inches from factory is where we can go, maximum. But the deal is police don't look at the manufacturing specs of a vehicle and then write you a ticket. What we do is we look to see if there's any body or frame contact from lock to lock and compression of your suspension. We're going to look to see if there's any body or frame contact with the ground. If there's not enough clearance that you can't go over a driveway without making contact, that's a problem. So we're looking at those kind of things to determine if it's safe. But if you talk to a mechanic, they're going to tell you what you should do. You see, you have to have functioning suspension. Otherwise, it don't work so good. Can pedestrians be charged for causing collisions? Absolutely. And I've laid many charges against pedestrians because when they cause a collision, they are responsible for it. They are responsible. Why do some cops not give you a ticket, but some do? Because there's something called discretion, and officers can give you a ticket or a warning, and it's their discretion as to what they do. A traffic officer will probably give you a ticket every time because they understand that what you're doing is worthy of a charge, so that we can track your license, so we can notify the Ministry of Transportation and take your license away if you continue to down that behavioral path, because it's a choice. People who speed are choosing to speed. You don't speed by accident. You have to do something to make the car go that fast. If you're not paying attention, that's also a problem because people, I didn't see the sign. Well, you should have seen the sign because your job as a driver is to pay attention. So I don't think that warnings do a whole lot because you've probably sped, or the person getting a warning has probably sped every day of their life until they got that ticket. The ticket, however, starts the journey or may continue the journey of tracking bad behavior. So, yeah, I give tickets, not warnings, but that's me. I used to give lots of warnings, and I changed my mind because I don't think it was effective. Some people disagree. Asking, does dirt bikes around neighborhoods legal? Dirt bikes are off-road vehicles around neighborhoods or any road. You cannot ride them. It has to be an approved place to operate them. Yeah. It's illegal. You'd be charged for it's not a vehicle that's intended for the road. It doesn't have lights or proper signals or brake lights for that matter. So no, you can't ride them anywhere. John says you'd be amazed at what you can see when you slow down and observe. You know what? It's a really good point, and I'm not just saying that because he's one of my favorite people. But the deal is that when you slow down, you do see a lot more. It's one of the reasons it's safer when you go slow. You have more reaction time. You have time to absorb what's going around. It's not light speed, the warp blur of Star Trek. You need to get up early, plan your day, leave with with extra time so you can have a stress-free drive. Okay, what are we going to do here? We talked about this, so we're going to do a poll. Who would go to Comic-Con, or who's going to Comic-Con this year? That's the big question. Comic-Con, it's apparently happening in Toronto. So smiley for yes and sad face for no, and you watched Aaron's video. But yeah, Comic-Con is not just about comics now. It's about all sorts of folks who are celebrities involved in the movie. I now I have to go just because I want to meet the folks from Chips. That's all it is. I've been told Chips is a thing, and now I need to go. Yeah, that's it. I also need to have a sip of my coffee. And then I need to have a sip of my water.
I have both here too.
Mm-hmm.
And this coffee is really good. I like it.
Well, I'm glad you approve. Aaron made a coffee using my Nespresso machine. I have a Virtuo in the office, and we tried, what was it, caramel cookie something?
Yeah.
You're reading a Timmy's cup that's empty.
I know. I don't know what I'm doing.
It was one of those take 10 leftover cups. Yeah. And she's normally a Starbucks lady, so this was a thing. Mm-hmm. Juno Awards, what is that? What's a Juno Award? Okay, let's look at the poll. The poll ended. Poll was, 6 would go, 10 would not go. Interesting. All right. Let's get back into questions. Did I mention it's FriYay? Yes, that means no show tomorrow, no show the next week, or the next day. So Saturday, Sunday, we're off. We're back on Monday, and that week is an important week. Why? Because it's the week before I go on vacation. So if you've got burning questions, you don't get them done today, make sure you get them tomorrow or next week, because you won't get me for a week or two. They'll be posting videos. We're doing double time. We're putting up, we're recording some batch recording responses. So we'll have videos to go. However, we don't have lives for 2 weeks. Okay. What else can I tell you about? We have a podcast episode that we recorded yesterday with a representative from MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. So we're looking forward to airing that. I think it's going to schedule for Sunday if I can get the editing done, which brings me up to the fact that we have something called TPS Traffic Jam, which is where we have podcasts. It's the name of the podcast. Episode 4 is coming out. And if you haven't checked out 1 through 3, the first 2 are with our friends from TURF, Karen and Robin. TURF is the Traffic Injury Research Foundation. And then we have the episode that we did with Aaron, that person there, from Parking Enforcement. We talk about what she does and how she got into it. The next one will be with MAD, and we are always interested to hear from people who have a story to tell. So if you think you should be a guest, or if you think that you know someone who should be, let us know. You can get us at traffic safety programs at torontopolice.on.ca. And someone asked yesterday, so I'll put it out there. If you think we should be a guest on your show, please let us know. Again, traffic safety programs at torontopolice.on.ca. Okay. Anyone going to see the cherry blossoms in Toronto? That's a thing. Racing Squad from YouTube waving hello. Hello back. All right. Sandu says that dark-colored clothes should be banned for pedestrians at night. You know what? We like to say that being seen is kind of important. A lot of people believe that the car should see you, but we want to help it. You can't win the lottery if you don't buy a ticket, so anything you can do to increase your odds of survival are beneficial. Obviously, drivers have a great responsibility, but help them out. They're half asleep. Unfortunately, we catch a lot of people who shouldn't be behind the wheel, whether because they're impaired or they are tired or they're distracted. There's a lot going on in cars, and a lot of it should be put to the side and left for some time when they're not driving. But we know that people make really bad decisions on a regular basis, whether you're eating, drinking, distracted. Focus on driving, please. We have pedestrians and vulnerable road users that we're trying to keep alive. Yeah, thanks for your help. Okay, moving on. Thoughts on windshield top graphics? You can't put stuff on vehicles that are 2017 or newer, so please don't. We don't want to have to stop you and give you tickets. That's the whole point of this channel, is to educate you so you don't have problems. How badly do you need to put a sticker on your car that you're worth putting on a risk? I would suggest that if you want to put stickers on, put them in the back. Rear window, rear passenger window. Rear windows are the tiny windows that don't roll down, the ones on the sides that put stickers there. Put stickers on the bodywork. Put it anywhere, but don't put it on your windshield. Windshields are important for looking out of and being seen through. All right. A modified tractor on the road in a plaza? What do you mean? Okay, can a cop come to your home and correct a ticket the next day? Yes, a police officer can attend your home to serve you with a replacement ticket if they have identified an issue with it. That's certainly a legitimate thing. They would generally put it on a different form, but they can certainly replace one ticket for another. That is not a problem. Comp 50 says, or 5.0 says, hey, so my car isn't legal. That's possible. I don't know. Is yours one of the cars that you said, please do mine next? Because there's a bunch of people who apparently it's the equivalent of being roasted, is to have the TikTok traffic cop come on and look at your posts and tell you whether or not it's a legit roadworthy vehicle for the province of Ontario. So I've got some on a list from people who said, hey, do mine next, that I plan on doing. So we'll get to that. Let's see here. It's Comic-Con in Niagara Falls. It's in Niagara Falls? Get out of town. I don't know if I'm driving to Niagara Falls. You know how much gas is right now? Speaking of the cost of gas, a lot of folks who like to speed may be interested to know that it's more fuel efficient to slow down, oddly enough, and set the cruise control and not do that whole speed up, slow down business every 25 to 50 feet. Because it is amazing at how many people pass me up. Because I set my cruise control when I get on the highway, and if there's no reason to slow down, I don't. But I'm also only doing the speed limit, which really bothers everyone who's trying to pass me at Mach 5. So I'm maintaining a constant speed. I'm not burning gas to accelerate and decelerate, and it's a thing. So why do I bring this up? I forgot there was a point I was trying to make. Oh, I don't know if I'm driving to Niagara Falls. Yeah, I don't know. I've lost my train of thought. Not using signals should be a 30-day suspension. I think you should bring that up to your local, your MP to bring forward and add that to the punishment list. You know what? You have to give people an opportunity to know what you're doing before you do it, so that you can be safe, and so can they. People who choose not to signal, they need to be charged. I don't know about a 30-day suspension. I think there's a bunch of things we can add to 30 days that are way more serious, but that is still serious because you cause collisions when you don't, let people know what's going on. Of course, the person that you're signaling needs to be paying attention and not buried in an email that they're trying to write on their way to work. Well. Did I mention this FriYay? Why is it okay for TTC to have blue lights on the front? So they are not projector bulbs. Those are just illuminated markers. So having an illuminated marker must be okay, or they wouldn't be doing it. But it is not the same thing as having a projector light. That's under the 300 lumens of a headlight, so it's not a blue headlight. And they are marking their night buses. But I've had this conversation with people, and I don't have a really good answer for you other than what I believe it to be. You can't have strobe or flashing. And remember, any beacon is going to be more than than that simple marker tiny bulb. Yeah. John, what is this? Jonathan Sharp has a 3-part question I can see. I only see part 3 of 3, but I don't see the rest of it. So let's see if we can find it. Oh, we definitely need to talk about this. So we don't need license plate stickers anymore. Oh, by the way, as I answer the license plate stickers thing, Erin is a parking enforcement officer. She is right here. If you have questions about parking in the city of Toronto, now is your opportunity to chat about it. But let's get back to, do you need license plate stickers? No. However, I don't have a drum roll. You do have to renew your license plates. That's the renewing online. There's no cost involved. You have to go online. You have to have your permit with you to do it. And when you renew it, you renew for 1 or 2 years. I don't know why anyone in their right mind would choose 1 year instead of 2, because it just means you have to do more work in 365 days. But it's free. But you will get a charge. You will get a ticket if you don't do that. So it doesn't cost you. There's no physical ticket, but you have to renew online. There's so many videos I have to do. A video on that, a video on this.
You ready for the 3-part question?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Have a friend that got a stunt driving ticket. Officer said that he was street racing. He was doing 55 kilometers per hour.
Okay. So that's, I don't know what to tell you. 55 over or 55 in total? I don't know the details of that particular offense because I wasn't there to witness it. I didn't make the allegations and I didn't write the ticket, which is what the allegation is. So I don't know what to tell you. You're saying that they were only doing 55 and they were street racing? Yeah. Doesn't make sense. Either your information is incorrect because you weren't there, I'm assuming you weren't there, or the officer made an error, but I don't know. I don't know who to believe because I don't have any information. I don't have any information. So that's the only information we have is that he wasn't speeding, but maybe there was confusion, or maybe your friend wasn't honest with you. One of the two. Driving with a dog in your lap, is it distracted driving? It's not distracted driving because those charges require you to have a cell phone or an entertainment device or a screen visible. It is careless driving. It is driving while crowded, and it is illegal. Are parking ticket disputes successful?
Well,
I imagine some of them are.
Yeah, well, I can't really speak to that because I'm not on that side of the table because that goes through the city adjudicator, whoever, the officer who works for the city. But from what I have heard, well, actually, you know what? I can speak to this from personal experience because believe it or not, I have gotten a parking ticket or two, and it sucks, but especially because I should know better than anyone. But yeah, it's happened, and we did try to get it reduced. And yeah, I think like if you have a pretty clean parking ticket record, I think the city gives you like a one-off. Like if it's like your first ticket that you're appealing, they'll give you some sort of reduction in the fine. I don't know how much, whether it's 25% or half of it. But I think after that one-off, then you're on your own and you have to pay the full fines of any other parking tickets you get, even if you try to dispute them. Unless, of course, you had a valid reason to dispute it, like, say, you paid on the app and it didn't come up on the officer's handheld, or there was some sort of technical difficulty, but you had proof you paid, then that's when you would, attach into the email, so on and so forth.
So basically, if you've got a valid reason, you can dispute it, and then someone will look at it and make a determination. Exactly. And if you just say I don't want to pay it, that's not an excuse.
Yeah.
People do make appeals because of financial means. I've seen different payment plans and things like that. But simply disputing it because you don't want to pay it isn't a dispute. You have to have some evidence that you bring forward. The signage wasn't there, something was wrong. So obviously, take photos and document everything because you're going to have to justify it in either in an email form or a meeting with the prosecutor. Why? Oh, here's one. Well, actually, wait. I got a parking ticket repealed. Cool. Akela, tell us more.
Why is Sorry, TikTok is not working for me. I'm trying to get back on the live so I can get in the chat.
Okay. Why does my car being low affect anybody else? Well, it affects other people because it's an unsafe thing. If it's too low, simply being lowered isn't illegal. Being lowered to the point of unsafe is unsafe. Being unsafe means that you're a hazard to yourself and others. That's why it affects other people. You can lose control. You can go over, I don't think, if you're asking this question, you may not understand about vehicle dynamics and how it works and how things stick to the road. And having no suspension, which many people do with cheap, kits to lower their vehicle or cut their springs, your vehicle doesn't handle the way it was designed to. And it changes the dynamics and the ability to stick to the road. Low does not mean faster. Low does not mean better handling. Low means low. And unless it's done properly, it's unsafe. What do you do with abandoned parked cars? There's another Aaron question.
Abandoned parked cars, so we would eventually tow them if they have the plates and whatnot, and if they don't have plates, then we would run the VIN, and then a police officer would get involved and investigate that. But eventually, it would get towed off the street if it was abandoned.
Cool. On the street's a problem. Private property is different.
And so I just want to answer someone's question in the chat or statement because I'm typing it out. It's just easier to say it.
Sure.
Someone was like, I got a parking ticket on a street where there was no sign posted. That's because even if there's no sign, the city bylaw for parking is no more than 3 hours, and that's based upon complaint. So if that's probably the ticket you got if there's no sign posted.
Cool. Question is, how do I become a police officer in the city of Toronto? It is simple. You apply. To do that, go get more information of what's required at www.tps.ca/careers. That's going to give you all the requirements, but it's not just police officers we're hiring. If you want a great job with a great organization, check us out. We're hiring all sorts of different people, not just uniform positions. Okay. Is tires that rub at full lock illegal? Yes, that will suggest to us that your vehicle is unsafe. We're going to seize your plates. We're going to return them to the ministry. You're going to have to get a safety, and you are not driving away. It's unsafe for the road. That would be the end of that car, driving at least until you can get the issue corrected and get it safetied again by a mechanic and reapply for plates. Motorcycle, what is this? Motorcycle parking is not free before 7 a.m. PSA.
Oh, so yes, actually, I believe this is the person I was just DMing with on Instagram because they showed me they got a ticket. So it's not everywhere. So that's because he got a ticket on a permit street, like a residential permit street. So you have to make sure you're reading all the signs because a lot of streets downtown are also residential parking permit streets. And you can get a permit if you live on that street and you have a motorcycle. Motorcycles are to have residential parking permits if they're occupying that space.
That free parking is for pay and display.
The pay and display only.
And that is 24 hours, isn't it?
The
pay and display spots for motorcycle would be 24 hours.
It would have to be in the allotted
space,
in the allotted times.
Following all the signs.
Yes, so because motorcycles could also, I think they could still get like a 3-hour bylaw ticket as well. So if a lot of streets that have like metered parking as well, like that street that this person got the ticket on, yes, from like midnight to 7 a.m. it's a permit street, and then after 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. it's paid parking. So
as long you got to check the signage, follow the rules of the signs, and go.
But not every street in the city of Toronto is a permit street. So, and I always tell people when you do park in those permit areas, even if it is 10 minutes before the time has ended, you're still displacing people that are paying to occupy that space. So anyways, yeah.
John wants to know, are green pea lots included asking for a friend?
I don't believe so.
Street parking only.
Yeah.
Yeah, green pea is handled entirely differently, or green pea lots are handled differently. Yeah. Question from Adam wants to know, how soon can you drive after consuming alcohol? There's no specific time that I can give you because everybody deals with alcohol and drugs differently. The best thing is to not drink if you're going to drive, to make alternate plans. They used to say it's about an hour per average size drink. So I guess that's one serving of either a shot, wine, or beer, but that may not work for you. And any alcohol could cause impairment, which could result in arrest. So I can't give you permission after a certain amount of time. It really depends on the individual. And the best is to simply not consume drugs or alcohol if you are going to drive at all. Okay. Have you ever gotten any tickets? Certainly, I got tickets that changed my driving behavior. They were very successful when I was a kid. I ran a stop sign. I got one speeding ticket. I think that's it. I think I got 2 tickets. I might have had 3. But they were when I was like 16 or 17, and they were impactful enough that it changed the way I drove. And that's exactly what tickets are supposed to do. They're supposed to change your driving behavior by making you remember how much it sucked when you got that ticket. Okay. Covered this. Let me just delete a couple that are in the queue. Do TPS still give positive tickets? I remember they used to give them out in the past. Positive ticketing was a thing that was done to, let's see here. One sec here. Q, what are you talking about? Hello? Oh. Okay. So she sent me a message. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, so positive ticketing was something that was done. It's been done in different jurisdictions, and it's just a way of saying, you're a great driver. Thanks very much. I don't think we're actively doing that. We're fairly busy doing police work, and that's one of those things you can do when you have extra time. We're pretty strapped. We need more people, which is why you should check out www.tps.ca/careers and hire and get hired. If you're interested in becoming a police officer, you can get hired, but you have to apply. Okay. Does Ontario have a minimum speed limit? Quebec has posted signs. Great question. The answer is there's no posted. There may be posted signs in certain jurisdictions. I'm not familiar with any. Maybe on Highway 7 I've seen one, seems to think. In any case, unnecessary slow driving is a violation under the Highway Traffic Act. If you are driving below the speed limit and you are causing or impeding traffic for no reason, you could be, if it's raining and bad driving condition, it's justifiable to go slow. If you are driving slowly because your vehicle is mechanically unsound, if you're driving slowly because you're scared, if you're driving slowly because something that's not reasonable, well, it's not reasonable, and then you can be charged. Every situation is going to be different, and many people who are complaining about people who are driving too slow are upset that people are driving the speed limit as too slow. Well, guess what? The speed limit is the maximum you can go legally, not the minimum. So slow down. That would be a good, instead of Autobots roll out, it should be everyone slow down. Okay, let's see here. Construction vehicles are not exempt in the no parking. What is this?
No.
Is that a statement or a question?
I think it was a question maybe, but no. Construction vehicles can actually, and most construction vehicles and companies do this, you can get actual construction vehicle permits. So wherever you're working within the city, you apply for this permit. You can occupy space on the street as long as you're actively working there. So you can always find that information on toronto.ca.
Right on. And we've had a bunch of people jump in, so in case you don't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police officer with the Toronto Police Service working here at Traffic Services, specifically in the Traffic Safety Programs Office, where we do education, answering your questions about traffic safety, traffic law, and police stuff in general. We do this Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. We're here today. We're off for the weekend, back Monday through Friday. Then I'm off for a couple of weeks, so I won't be doing lives. But you know what? Ask questions, get involved. We'd love to talk to you. And follow us if you don't already follow us. Let's get here. Okay. In Ontario, so the question is, does a practicing Sikh have to wear a helmet? And in the province of Ontario and a couple of other provinces, there are exemptions allowing Sikhs not to wear helmets while operating motorcycles. A lot of people get offended. They say it's not fair that they get to do it and we don't. Well, if you'd like to become a practicing Sikh, you can too. It's something that is something that you can't fault someone for religious reasons. They need to be able to operate vehicles, and the government has sided with them, and that is a good thing. Now, no one's saying it's safer, just that they're able to do it. Okay. Sean, what did you have for breakfast? I had 2 coffees. Let's see here. Excuse me? Okay. Oh, spam. I can't. You made a noise. I couldn't tell if you were passing gas or if you were.
Yeah,
actually...
no. There's a lot of spam
How
going on
does
here.
that sound like passing gas?
Okay, 55 in total trying to pass someone in a 50. Oh, this is the part of the question about the stunt driving. Yeah, I don't know. What can Toronto remove from plates? When can Toronto remove what? I don't even know. I don't understand your question. You're gonna have to rephrase. Aaron, when are you making a Jack Sparrow run video?
I saw that. Oh my gosh. I don't think I'm going to.
I saw Call Me Chris do it.
Yeah,
and
I
that was
know.
epic.
That was.
If you don't watch Call Me Chris, she's only like
I
the
probably
second
couldn't
most
even
famous
do
Canadian.
it because I don't have the commercial sound for that. But also, I'm like, I would want some other people in on it. I don't want to do that by myself. And
I said I'll never dance. I didn't say I won't run like Jack Sparrow. No, I'm not running like Jack Sparrow.
I'll do it with
okay.
you, Aaron.
There you go. Phone between the lap and legs is an offense while driving. Yeah, you can't have your phone in your lap, on your lap. You can't. The fact is, radiation bad, but you can't have your phone there. It's been it's been found in court to have been a violation. It's usually because you just had it in your hands or you put it there right after and suggest you'll be using it again. Put your phone away. Simple as that. There's no reason your phone should be in your lap because you can't use it while you're driving, can't use it while you're stopped, only when you're legally parked. So I don't know why you'd be storing it there. It's just not healthy. Okay. What is going on here? Remove this question. Do cops stop people on the highway going 20 to 30 over? I sure hope so, because they deserve to be stopped. That's breaking the law considerably. It's putting lives at risk. Speed kills. We've seen that, and we know that, and it is that. So don't speed. They should be stopped. Very often people do speed, and there's no officer there to catch them, so they get away with it. Or they crash, and that also happens. Speeding at any speed over the speed limit is against the law, and yes, we do charge people for speeding, and even at less than 20 over. Okay. What do I do if I stopped and my window doesn't go down? Crack the door open. Open it up. Explain that, do that whole international, it doesn't work, and open the door. Slowly open the door. Don't jump out. That's not a good thing. We covered the minimum speed about Quebec. Wheel spacers. So wheel spacers that cause your tires to protrude from the fenders, that would be illegal. Wheel spacers because you're adapting a different bolt pattern or you have to adjust for the style of the aftermarket rim, those can be used. But again, you can't make them stick out and have your fenders have to be covering your tires. Otherwise, they're improper tires. Keenan says, hi, Sean. Hi, Keenan. Oh, we got here. What is this? No lies become rooting helps me stay alert during work. Oh, what? Oh, Tint from Montreal says, you become a part of my routine during my morning break. You help me stay awake during work, or alert during work, not awake. You're awake already. And she says, have a great weekend, go to Comic-Con. What license is needed to drive a baggage cart at an airport? That's private property. I don't think you need a license. Although it's interesting. Interesting question. Do they have a permit? They might need a qualification. We have something called a blue card. That's a police driver's license, essentially. It used to be that you couldn't operate anything, any police vehicle without one. And then once you got one, you were good to go, in addition to your driver's license. What is the speed limit on the highway? Hussein wants to know. The answer is whatever the posted speed limit is. It's going to be 100. In most Ontario highways, there are a few stretches that are 110 kilometers an hour. Very short stretches. Okay. We've talked about it a couple times during the show, but how can I become a police officer in Toronto? Visit www.tps.ca/careers for information on hiring. We are hiring. Comp50 says, how you doing today? Well, we've talked to you already today, but yes, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. What is this? Is it legit to drive around with a tow hitch? So if you have your tow hitch, your receiver, the ball still attached, as long as it's not blocking your license plate, there's no law preventing it. But we have been told that insurance companies might not appreciate if you're involved in a collision and your frame gets bent and it's because you had the hitch in there while you weren't towing. So your mileage may vary. I've not had confirmation from an insurance company on that, but I have been told that they may have issues with it. What is this? Got flashed by a speed cam. It was 50 zone. How dollars question? It depends on how much speed you were doing. I think it's not a flat rate. I think it's based on speed, and I don't know. It's a City of Toronto thing, or whatever area you're in. It's not based on the Highway Traffic Act, or at least not by the City of Toronto. Sorry, I can't speak today. It's FriYay. I need to go home. I need a nap. No, so I don't know what the rates are for those red light cameras and for the speed cameras. I can tell you what they are for regular tickets, but they are different. They are actually more expensive. And it's the City of Toronto who operates that program, not the Toronto Police. Can I use this is a good one. Can I use a picture or a copy of insurance for ownership? those are two different questions. Okay, so copy of insurance, you need the original pink slip or an electronic copy provided by the insurance company. That's through an app, so they have to offer it. Not every company does. My company does not do it. Ownership can be the original document or a photocopy of both sides, which is referred to as a true copy. That is permitted, but pictures of either or any, no, cannot have photos. There's a no photo law. No, it's just not acceptable. White lights on front, how many allowed? So if we're talking about headlights that have more than 300 candela of power, the maximum number of illuminated headlights would be 4. 4 lights at the front, that is the max. Can you get a ticket for a crowded vehicle? Yeah. So if you have more people in the vehicle than there are seats for that vehicle if you have more people than there are seatbelts and seats, yes, you can get charged. If the vehicle is older and has seats that don't have seatbelts, then you still only have the number of people that there are seats designed for those people to be carried. So you can't put 10 people in a car built for 5. I have pulled people over and charged them for that, squishing people in the back of a small car. Is it true that there's a 10-kilometer leeway for speeding? That is going to be an officer discretion situation. There is no law that says you can have 10-kilometer leeway for anything. You go over the speed limit by 1 kilometer, technically you're eligible for a ticket. Now, there isn't really anybody that I've ever met that gives a 1 kilometer over ticket, but it is something that could be done. I would probably give a 5-kilometer thing for me, but that could be different for somebody else, and you never know who you're going to get. So the answer is don't speed. Will an exhaust ticket affect my insurance? They see it. It's not driving, so it shouldn't affect your insurance. It shouldn't change your risk. However, they might be aware of the fact that you have a loud exhaust. At that point, they may want to know if you have a modified vehicle, and they may want to change the way they, cover your vehicle. Just that's them being investigators, because they are investigators too. What is this? But it's printed in black and white. Haggerty Insurance lets you print your insurance slip. Okay. But you can't have photos of it. It's printed in black and white. Okay, but you can't print it. Sure, you can print it, but you can't have a photo of it. Maybe the PDF would be acceptable. I'd have to go look at the rules, but it's an electronic copy that they provide, so that might work. In any case, you can't have photos of it. That's different than a PDF. I'm going to say the PDF is probably okay, since they're providing it to you, and that's the only slip that they give you. Yeah, it makes sense. When driving, is it legal to adjust the front console? What does that mean? Console? Do you mean like change your air conditioning and so on? So it's not distracted driving. It could be considered careless driving if it negatively impacts your ability to operate your vehicle safely. So if you're driving around and you're weaving all over the place because you're trying to adjust the temperature of your air conditioning just right, yeah, that is a problem. Hussein followed up with his question about what's the speed limit on the highway. Speed limit on the highway is 100K, but I never see anybody driving less than 120. Is it okay if I drive 120? Because everybody passing me, if I drive 120 on the highway 401 will get it. I drive 100 and people pass me and they're annoyed by me. And you know what? Good. I hope they have a horrible day because they're horrible people. You can't speed. Speeding is dangerous, and you are simply buying into mob mentality of if one person does it, it's okay. No, they need to slow down. And you should stay out of the passing lane and do the speed limit on lanes 2, 3, 4, depending on where you are. But no, don't speed. And yes, I did just call people who speed horrible. It's not acceptable. You're breaking the law, and you should be ticketed. Can cyclists ride on the sidewalk legally? No. In the city of Toronto, you are not allowed to ride on the sidewalk in life. If you are 14 or over, you cannot. If you're 13 or under, you can. What is this? Have you ever pulled a car over because you like it? No. I've pulled over cars because they've broken the law. Timbit the God, that's a great username. I have pulled people over for breaking the law. I have pulled up beside someone and said, you have an awesome car, given them a thumbs up. I've had conversations with people at stops or in parking lots about their cars, but I've never stopped someone to check out their ride. That would be a misuse of my equipment. What is this? $110 ticket while truck was stopped. Didn't investigate. 04 Ranger. I don't know what you're talking about, brother. I need more info. I ride a motorcycle, copy of ownership, okay. The green slip, your ownership, you can either travel with your original or a photocopy of both sides. The photocopy has to be of a valid copy, so a valid version. So if you're driving with an expired version, that's not acceptable. Like a copy of an expired version, not acceptable. It has to be an up-to-date copy. They call it a true copy because it covers both sides. Can you ride e-scooters in Toronto? No, it's against the law to ride e-scooters in Toronto. The bylaw, or I should say the pilot that's currently ongoing in the province of Ontario, requires each municipality to buy in, to adopt it, to accept it. And we have not in the city of Toronto. We've specifically said they are not welcome. Mississauga allows them. Go there and use them, but you can't use them here. Now, what is the offense? It's a $60 fine for using them here. There's a lot of people who are eligible for that because I see them all day long when I'm in my personal vehicle, driving to and from work. Can I have a car lowered and cambered? There's a certain level of camber that's going to be considered safe, and then you're going to go. If you look at the video that we have posted, that one's ridiculous and completely unsafe. What is this? And in terms of lowered, same things. It's going to be maximums and to be done safely and to factory standards, or at least to an acceptable OEM standard. If you're just dropping it because you're chopping springs, that's a problem. What is this question? Fourth in line, making a left on a yellow charges. If you're in the intersection and you're able to exit the intersection before it turns red, you're okay. You're not supposed to. You have to clear the intersection. So, can you stack the left turn? If there's room for you to be there safely, I don't see an issue with it, as long as you can clear and you're not interfering with traffic. So if you're stuck in the middle of the intersection and you're preventing people from going, you're not in a good position. If there's nowhere for you to exit, you actually obstruct traffic. It's failed to clear intersection. But if you can clear it reasonably, I don't have a problem with it. What is this? I have a license from abroad, time frame to convert. So if you have moved here and you're a resident, you have 60 days to apply for an Ontario driver's license. It's different in every jurisdiction being province, because every province has its own laws when it comes to this. But in Ontario, if you become a resident, you have to apply for an Ontario license within 60 days. What happens if a ticket is not paid in 15 days? You are deemed to not dispute. I think it's a guilty plea at that point, or same as pleading guilty, and you owe the money. At that point, and it depends on what kind of ticket. I think for parking tickets, you can now actually accrue interest for not paying it. Am I correct in that, Aaron? You get interest now if you don't pay your tickets?
For parking tickets?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, you do. Okay. What do we got here? Okay. Police in Sudbury always do 20 over. Police are permitted to legally exceed the speed limit. There's an exemption in the Highway Traffic Act in Ontario for police, fire, and ambulance. There's different conditions that need to be met. Fire has to be going to a call. The ambulance has to be transporting somebody or going to a call. Police have to be performing their lawful duties. Now, people always say, oh, they're going to Timmy's. If they're going to Timmy's and they're going 20 over, that's not lawful, unless they're going to Timmy's because there's a call there, right? They may have a call for service. People say, well, I always see them in there having coffee after they pass me. Well, here's a scenario that may or may not be the reason. They could be totally violating and breaking the rules, or they could be going to a call and then they get canceled. That happens all the time. Officer 123, go to this call. Oh, we have enough officers here. We're good now. It happens all the time. That could be a situation where they say, you know what, my adrenaline's pumping. I'm going to pull off for a second. Where's a good place? Oh, we're right in front of a Timmy's. It happens. It's not me trying to make an excuse for them. It's giving you a serious and plausible reason. I'm not trying to defend them, just saying it could happen. Minute 43 seconds left with Instagram before they say bye-bye. So if you are on Instagram, we love you, but we're leaving. And that's because we're maximum 1 hour of broadcast on Instagram. And so we're verified. And we've been here forever. I don't know. We applied for verification. They're ignoring us. They hate us. No, I don't know. I'm playing. Hope you're doing well. Have a great weekend. We'll see you here on Monday when we do this all over again. Now, back to stuff and things. Here are the questions. By the way, it's 11 o'clock. We should actually finish. Instagram me, folks. If you want to keep watching, we'll be doing this for another 5 or 10 minutes. You can jump onto YouTube at Traffic Services Toronto Police. Question from P723. Is there a no chase law in Ontario? No, that does not exist. We are always measuring and weighing risk to public safety whenever we do anything. So if it was a minor infraction and someone took off and was putting lives at risk, which is what happens when people do stupid things like run from the police, we may or may not pursue. We'd have to be able to justify why it was worthy of pursuit, and we'd be responsible for what happens if we did that. What we do choose to do is identify you. That's the goal. We identify you, and then we meet you at your house and lay the charges later and arrest you for fleeing police. But it really depends. There is no rule that says we cannot pursue. And obviously there are times when we really need to. What if it's an Amber Alert? There's a kid in the car where, there's somebody with a gun. There's reasons when we will up the ante and take it further. What is this? Oh, and for the folks who just jumped in, if you do not already follow us, please do. We do this Monday to Friday from 10 to 11. We answer your traffic and police questions for an hour and sometimes a little more, which is where we're at right now. If you have questions, check us out. We also have a ton of videos up. So love to have you as part of the fam. And speaking of fam, if you'd like to become a police officer with the Toronto Police Service, we're hiring. www.tps.ca/careers for more information. How fast can motorcycles go on the highway? The speed limit legally, above that, is people being squids and putting lives at risk, and very often stunt driving, which is why we take bikes away and cars away too. Any motor vehicle that is going 50 over the speed limit is on a road that has a speed limit over 80 or 80 and over is stunt driving. Doing 150 anywhere is stunt driving, and doing 40 kilometers over a road that has a speed limit under that of 80 kilometers an hour, that's also stunt driving. There's a ton of different ways to get charged for stunt driving, the consequences of which are to have a suspension of a impound of your vehicle for 14 days and a suspension for 30. So that doesn't even get into the fact that when you're convicted, it's going to be a 1 to 3 year suspension and possible jail time. You can up the ante too every time you do that in subsequent charges or subsequent offenses. You come back before the courts. It could be a 10-year suspension. It could be a lifetime suspension. So drive safely. The roads are for everyone to use. I know. I talk about this stuff all the time like I care, because I do. How does one get a job at traffic services? Well, first become a police officer and then express interest in traffic, because we are always looking for people who are specifically interested in traffic-related investigations and enforcement. It is a specialized type of work. We do we're not just going to calls, telling Bobby to do his homework. We're actually doing different types of investigations. And that's not to knock anybody. I started as a divisional officer. It's a great way to go, and there's lots of work to do, and there's lots of specialties within that side of things. And then there's traffic people. And I like it. I started as an auxiliary officer at traffic, so well before I became a police officer, I knew I wanted to work in traffic. What is this? Why do you do an Amber Alert? What do you mean, what do you do in an Amber Alert? Can you drive a tractor without a trailer as a daily driver? I don't see why not. I don't think there's any rule that says you must tow something. Kind of expensive to operate, isn't it? What do we got here? Highway's now changing to 110 kilometers. Thoughts on that? That's for a very short stretch of highway. It is not a global change to 110. I don't see a need to change the speed limit. All that's going to happen is violators are going to continue to speed above that speed limit. I don't think it's going to keep people slower. Like if people are doing 120 now, they'll do 130 when you raise the speed limit to 10. At least that's my take on it. Let's see here. What can Ontario services offer? Irish boy wants to know. I don't know what you mean. What do you mean? Is it illegal to go 10 kilometers over the speed limit? Yes. Speeding is when you go any amount of speed over the posted limit. If you do 1 kilometer, if you do a portion of a kilometer over the speed limit, you are technically breaking the law. Are we pulling you over for a portion of a kilometer over the limit? 101.5? No, probably not. Tracy Bell says, have a great day and a safe weekend. See you guys. See you Monday. Yes, we will be back on Monday. We'll see you then. Why do you do an Amber Alert? So the reason we have Amber Alerts, and there's a history. There was a young lady who happened to be named Amber, who was abducted, and this was a process that was put into play to help identify or find children in danger. So if someone's taking it, whether it be a stranger or a family member who takes the child, we have a belief that they're in danger, immediate danger, and they're in a motor vehicle. The idea is to find them. So it's an alert to notify everybody involved, literally everybody. Everybody's got a cell phone, television, radio. We're looking for a car with a particular description because we're trying to find them and keep them safe. So check it out. Google Amber Alert, and you will get all the detail you can. If a bike rack blocks your license plate, is it illegal? I'm assuming that's your question. And yes, you cannot obstruct your license plate, even if you like bicycles. It's against the law. If you're going to be doing that, you should relocate your license plate to the back. And if it's at night, you should be illuminating it. You can use an LED light or proper light, whatever the case is, but it needs to be illuminated and relocated so it's not obstructed. What are the tint laws in Toronto? Wait. Tint laws in Toronto. We have a FAQ playlist on our channel, and on there is a tint video, so you can go back and check it out later. But I'll give you the quick and dirty. It is no tint on your windshield unless you have a vehicle manufactured before 2017, at which point you can have a 3-inch tint strip across the top. The windows left and right of the driver can have no more than 30% light blockage to be safe, and you can have the rear windows as dark as you want, as long as you have at least one clear view to the rear, which is by way of a mirror. So if the rear window is blacked out or obstructed, as long as you have side mirrors that provide a clear view to the rear, then you're okay. It's not a Toronto law, it's an Ontario law.
So I had an encounter.
You did?
Yesterday.
Oh.
It was on the radio, actually. People were talking about officers flashing badges to pull them over. What should you do if you were in that situation to verify if that officer was valid?
So if you were concerned or suspicious as to whether or not that was a real police officer, because there are people who pretend to be police officers now and again, and it's scary. So you have the ability of, first of all, pull over, stay in your vehicle, call 911. They will have the ability to verify who the person is. You don't have to get out of the car. You don't have to open the vehicle for simply somebody who's claiming to be a police officer. Obviously, if you see lights and sirens and they're in uniform, that might go to some of their credibility. You can ask them for their badge. You can ask them for their warrant card. Not that they're going to hand it to you, but they're going to show it to you. And certainly, you can provide that information to any police operator when you call in. You can call Star OPP on the highway. You can call Star MTP to the Toronto Police. You can call 911. There's various ways of contacting police, and it's reasonable. And if you tell us that's what you're doing as legitimate police officers, we are going to accept that. And very often, if you say, you know what, I'm not sure, I don't want to be rude, but I'm not sure if you're really a police officer, they could call another unit to come by, a uniformed unit, and that's someone who may be more easily able, because it could be a long hold waiting on hold. So they could call somebody. You could ask them to do that. It's reasonable. Having a conversation, good way to go. Not pulling over, bad way to go, because it is a lawful direction to pull over. Okay. How do you enforce cars stopping for streetcars? When they don't stop for streetcars, we pull them over, and then we give them tickets. But we have to be there and see it happening. What do we got here? What is this? I don't know what this is. Is flipping the red left or hiding the L? I don't know what this is. I don't know the code you're writing.
That's not here in Ontario. The L is for learners for their motorcycle.
Oh, I don't know. Okay. What is this? To keep my New Brunswick insurance, do I have to keep my New Brunswick plate? You need to notify your insurance of where you're living. If you've moved from New Brunswick to Ontario, you need to get insurance that is based on the real fact that you live in Ontario. Otherwise, it's something called insurance fraud. So you need to get on. If you live in Ontario, you have to apply for Ontario plates, and you have to get an Ontario driver's license. So it all depends on what we're talking about. So I need more details of what you're doing and what you're thinking, and we can go from there. What do we have here? Are there breathalyzer lockouts for motorcycles? Do you mean interlock devices? Oh, God. I don't know. But if you have an alcohol problem to the point where you needed an interlock system, maybe motorcycling isn't for you, because that's a scary situation. Now, I honestly don't know. There may be, but I'm not aware of it. There's new Bluetooth ones, so maybe there's an internet. Anyway, it's an expensive situation. Interlock is a system that would require you to blow to provide breath samples on a regular basis while driving in order to operate the motor vehicle, for it to start and to maintain operation. So I don't know. Can I report aggressive driving using 911? Aggressive is a word that may or may not convey what you're talking about well. So I'm going to assume you mean road rage situations. If you're in fear for your life, if it's immediate danger to yourself or others, calling 911 may be the best way to deal with it, but you're going to need to make that decision as to whether or not it's an urgent thing. If you're talking about someone who is tailgating or not signaling, that's still aggressive driving, but I wouldn't call 911 for that. You can make a report, however, on our website after the fact, and especially if you have video of it on your dash cam, that's great. You can go to www.tps.ca/CORE. It's a citizen online report entry, and there is a page for reporting specific vehicles for various things. We smell burnt toast. That's scary based on the commercial I've seen. Okay. Plate covers illegal, so why do dealers put them on? Because they want free advertising. They may not realize how illegal they are. It's a $110 ticket for covering any portion of the license plate. You cannot have the Ontario or the yours to discover blocked. Really, any portion of the license plate being covered is illegal. Do we focus on those? Are we out there stopping everybody to make a quota that doesn't exist? Because people always accuse us of having quotas. No, we don't. But if it does block the license plate and we see it, we'll stop you. We'll usually give you an opportunity to take it off. Now, if it's somebody who has a tinted plate cover, you might get a ticket for it. You might get a warning. It's going to be up to the officer who pulls you over. But any plate cover that's totally covering it, clear or not clear, illegal. People say, well, why clear ones? Well, because very often people put on plate covers that are created in such a way that they distort the license plate, and that is so they can, not be seen easily. So things that you just can't have them at all. And let me see. I'm picking one last question. One last question. What is the question? Oh, let's see here. Q, do you see a good one?
No.
What is this? Are you actually a cop? Laughing. You stay on TikTok. Laughing. Yes, I am a police officer. I'm in uniform. It's amazing. I'm a police officer. I happen to have been injured in a motorcycle collision on duty, and I found myself looking for other meaningful work, and I started working in different areas of my unit. I was doing some background stuff, research. I was doing project planning, and then one day I started doing social media, and then I found TikTok and started going live, and here I am doing TikTok on a regular basis. I've become a traffic educator in a different way because I don't go on the road at the moment. This has become a really great way for me to contribute in a meaningful way to the community, because during COVID, especially during COVID, we couldn't go out and meet up with people the way we used to. We used to do car shows and events and meet one-on-one. And where we did that on a one-to-one basis, now we do it on a one-to-many. We get thousands of people. I don't know what our stats are going to be after this live, but we used to get 25, 30,000 people in a live, 1,600 people at a time. Today, I saw numbers that were close to 400 in the room. So we're answering questions that are being asked, and many, many people are getting the benefit of the answers. So it is cool. Hey, a Toronto Sean, get out of town. I thought I was the only Toronto Sean. Well, you're in the chat, though. You're not asking in the Q&A, so I can't actually go there, but we are going to say goodbye. The reason we're saying goodbye is because we're almost 15 minutes overtime, and we got other stuff to do on this FriYay before we can sign out and do things for the weekend. So I hope you have a really wonderful weekend. I hope you stay safe. If you're going to drive sober, no drugs, no alcohol. If you're going to Port Dover, rubber side down. And that's it. That's all from me. Q, anything to add? Aaron, anything?
Just have a great weekend, everyone. The weather is beautiful. Go out and enjoy and be safe.
Oh, yeah, weather. It's nice out. Don't do what I did. I'm peeling like crazy. I was out. I forgot to wear a hat last weekend. I got really sunburned. Who would have thought? It was kind of chilly, and I still got burned. All right, we're doing that countdown.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.